The crystalline spires of Arcturus Prime pierce through the violet atmosphere, their translucent surfaces reflecting the light of 3 distant suns. Within the Grand Hall of Unity, Princess Elsa of the Arcturian Empire stood upon the gravity platform, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with patterns that betrayed her irritation. 47 suitors had been presented before her in the past 3 cycles, each one more pompous than the last. David sat in the corner of the observation deck, his neural interface quietly cataloging the biochemical compositions of the various alien dignitaries. He wasn't supposed to be here. Not really. As a xenobiologist attached to the human diplomatic corps, his job was simply to monitor and record, to ensure that humanity's representatives didn't accidentally poison themselves or cause an interstellar incident through biological incompatibility. The actual diplomatic work was handled by Ambassador Chen and her team of smooth-talking negotiators. The Prince of Viridian offers a fleet of quantum-drive vessels, announced the herald, his voice amplified through the hall's acoustic resonators. Elsa's cranial tendrils, delicate appendages that extended from her temples, coiled tightly, a gesture David had learned indicated disgust. Her people, the Arcturians, possessed a form of electromagnetic perception that allowed them to sense the intentions and emotional states of other beings. Deception was nearly impossible in their presence. "Rejected," Elsa said, her voice carrying a melodic quality that human vocal cords could never replicate. "He seeks power, not partnership." The Viridian prince's scaled face flushed an angry crimson as he was escorted away. David made a note in his data pad. Viridian physiology displays chromatic emotional responses, possible connection to thermoregulation. One by one, the suitors approached. A Clathian warrior boasted of conquered systems. A Nexian merchant prince displayed holographic projections of his wealth. A Draconid noble demonstrated his genetic enhancements, his body morphing into various combat forms. Each was turned away. "They see only what I represent," Elsa said to her attendant, loud enough for David's translator implant to catch. "The Empire, the Alliance, the political advantage, none of them see me." David understood that feeling more than she knew. Back on Earth, he'd been the genius child, the one everyone wanted to associate with, to be seen with, to use for their own advancement. It was why he'd volunteered for deep space assignments. Out here, light years from home, he could simply be himself. The presentations continued for another hour. David watched, fascinated not by the political theater, but by the subtle biological tells each species exhibited. The way the hexapod ambassadors' limbs trembled when lying. How the crystalline delegates' internal structures dimmed when uncertain. He was so absorbed in his observations that he didn't notice when the presentations ended. "Is there no one here who seeks connection rather than conquest?" Elsa's voice echoed through the suddenly quiet hall. Ambassador Chen stepped forward diplomatically. "Your Highness, perhaps if you took time to consider." "Time?" Elsa's bioluminescence flared bright azure, a color David's research indicated meant frustration bordering on despair. "I have given them time. I have given them attention. What I need is—" She paused, her cranial tendrils extending outward, sweeping across the assembled crowd. They stopped, quivering, pointed directly at David. Every eye in the hall turned toward him. David looked up from his data pad, startled. What?" "You," Elsa said, descending from her platform with fluid grace. The gravity generators adjusted around her, allowing her to glide across the hall. "You are the only one in this entire assembly whose emotional signature contains no avarice, no ambition beyond knowledge." Ambassador Chen's face went pale. "Your Highness, Dr. David is merely a scientific observer, not a diplomatic candidate for—" "I did not ask for candidates," Elsa interrupted, her tendrils now close enough to David that he could see the delicate electrical patterns dancing along their length. "I asked for someone genuine." David stood slowly, his mind racing through a dozen biological explanations for what was happening. "Princess, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not. I'm just here to study biochemical interactions and—" "Yes," Elsa said, and for the first time that evening her bioluminescence settled into a warm golden hue. "You study, you observe, you seek to understand rather than to possess. Do you know how rare that is?" David found himself lost for words. An unusual experience for someone who usually had an encyclopedic explanation for everything. Elsa's tendrils brushed near his temple, not touching but close enough that he could feel a faint electromagnetic field. "I can sense your confusion, your fear, but also curiosity, not about what I can offer you but about me, about my people, about genuine understanding." "Your physiology is fascinating," David admitted, then immediately regretted how clinical it sounded. The way your neural pathways process electromagnetic data, the bioluminescent communication system." He stopped, realizing he was rambling. "Sorry, I tend to retreat into science when I'm nervous." For the first time, Elsa produced a sound that David's translator interpreted as laughter. "At least you're honest about it. Do you know what the electromagnetic signature of genuine emotion looks like?" "No, that's beyond my current research." "Then perhaps," Elsa said, her golden glow intensifying, "we could learn together. You could teach me about human biology, human perspective. I could show you how my people perceive the universe. An exchange of knowledge, no politics, no dynasties, just connection." Ambassador Chen was making frantic gestures from across the hall, clearly trying to figure out the diplomatic implications. The other suitors looked outraged, confused, or calculating. But David found himself focusing only on Elsa, on the genuine curiosity in her electromagnetic field that he was only beginning to perceive. "I would like that," he said quietly. "Though I should warn you, I'm terrible at diplomatic protocol." "Good," Elsa replied, her tendrils forming what David somehow knew was a smile. "I've had enough protocol for a lifetime." As the grand hall erupted into chaos around them, diplomats arguing, suitors protesting, advisors frantically calculating, David and Elsa stood in their own pocket of calm, two beings from incomprehensibly different worlds, connected by the simplest and rarest thing in the universe: the genuine desire to understand another person. Sometimes, the universe's most complex problems had the simplest solutions. And sometimes, the quiet human in the corner saw what everyone else had missed: that beneath all the biology, all the politics, all the cosmic differences, everyone just wanted to be seen for who they truly were.